So you mentioned before, you enjoy, I mean, I too enjoy sort of, well, not really like taking down pedos. I remember I got a lot of heat for pointing out Chrissy Teigen deleted like 60,000 something tweets like a year, no, more than 2 years
I
ago,
remember
beginning
that.
of the
The
pandemic.
cuties thing.
Woo! Yeah. So I just like pointing out hypocrisy and just like observing people, especially like celebrities, because I don't know. I feel like
Yeah,
we should not have so much patience and give so many chances to celebrities. And
right.
there's somebody who uh actually was kind of involved with the Odyssey games, and I came to know him through Lauren Southern, through doing a couple of her streams, because she would bring him on kind of as like the lefty take. Like she would always have this guy on. Oh well, he's a lefty and he's he's a good counterpoint
One
or
of the good
whatever.
ones.
One of the good ones. And then I hear it. I've heard him a few times, and I was on a couple streams with him, and I was like, I don't know if he's one of the good ones, especially. And so the guy I'm talking about is this guy named Destiny, and he's on a lot of streams. He's somebody that like I guess a lot of people talk about, and he kind of lost me because it was himself and this other streamer named Stardust who also was on the
Mhm.
Odyssey games, and they to me they were kind of defending pedos, and
Yeah, I'm very familiar
they would say things like, and
with the
I'm only giving a
situation.
lot of exposition in case, like, someone listening has just no clue who these people are, and
Yeah.
say things like, "Well, if you have 1 drink, that does that make you an alcoholic?" And, like, when I hear things like that, I'm just like, "Wow," like, you can't compare the 2 at all,
Mhm.
and, I don't know, what was your kind of experience with him? When did you first kind of, like, learn of him? Do you interact much? It just
Oh
seems like
man, it's so
he
much.
these folks, like, they love to debate. They think it's about the debate, and it's almost like, "Oh, we're playing devil's advocate," but it's like, ugh, why do we need to
Okay.
be advocating for, like, the worst kind of
Right.
people and
Yeah.
behavior?
What I mean, I've been open about it. I'll say it, okay? Destiny and I used to be cool. We used to be friends. I used to watch his content and I used to like some of his takes until he started to drift off into what I call like hot take territory. It's something that I call YouTube derangement syndrome, right? It happens when a creator who's that big and has so many orbiters, they start gravitating towards the hottest takes, right? The most performative stances, because when they do that they get more likes, more views, more the more they scream, the higher their view count goes, right? And I started to notice that he was doing that a lot when he would talk to me and engage with me, because we used to have good faith discussions, and then all of a sudden he would just start screaming at me and calling me like psychotic over Alec Baldwin. Like, it was really weird. So and I noticed that he was starting to drift into this kind of performative area where like it does he believe the things he says, or is he
Hmm.
just saying them just to be edgy, right? So if you know this, but like Destiny just got banned off Twitch permanently the other
Wow,
day.
permanently? Oh,
Yeah.
no, I didn't know that.
He attacked the trans community, and when he was doing it I was thinking to myself, dude, he's going fucking nuclear, bro. Like, are you trying to get banned? Because there's some things that on Twitch you really can't fight against too strongly, or you'll get banned, right? Like, same thing with YouTube's
Was
got
he
their
calling
shit.
them names per se, or was he, like,
It was I
messing with
don't it was
pronouns?
just like he was just going nuclear, and I was just like, holy shit, right? But the problem with Destiny is that, like, he's got these fans who become very toxic and attack like me and a lot of other people in particular. So yeah, we have bad blood. Finally I told him that I thought he was a performative loser and to fuck off. And that got a lot of his orbiters mad, and so they attack me on Twitter. You probably seen them dogpile me on Twitter. Pretty much everything I tweet out, I get dogpiled to some extent from that community. So it's a really toxic community. That said, I don't really believe in deplatforming unless somebody's a pedophile or a criminal. So I don't support his ban. I don't think he should be banned, but his community is absolute shit. And I'll probably get trolled and hated on because of saying this, but it's okay. Whatever. I think he's an asshole.
Yeah,
Um,
from Twitch, yeah,
Also, as far as the
Twitch.
pedophile stuff
Mhm.
goes, this all happened when Mr. Girl was starting to float around, and I was on to this guy for a long time, the Mr. Girl pedophile dude. Because he had some really hot takes about how cool cuties was and how sexually aroused he was by cuties. And then he kind of was like, well, it was a joke that I was saying it, but I was serious. But I was serious about it, but it was a joke. And it's like, what, dude? No.
Wait, who was this
And
guy that you're talking about? This Mr. Girl person? I have no
yeah, so
background.
he
Okay.
got banned. He got banned coincidentally after I called him out on Twitter. I really think it was a coincidence. I don't think I had anything to do with this ban, but people were really quick to, like, because of the timing, blame me for his ban. Um, which, whatever. I mean, I don't care if I got him banned because, like, he's fucking gross. And, like, all of that sympathizing stuff with Stardust and Destiny you're talking about has to do with him.
Oh,
So they were
wow.
trying to
Okay.
platform him and listen to him. And his whole thing is like, pedophiles aren't necessarily dangerous. And to me, that's a
Okay.
really
Yeah.
dangerous thing to say, because I'm a big First Amendment type of person. Like, but even though First Amendment doesn't apply to your ability to speak on Twitch and YouTube, we know this. But at the same time, like, I don't want people to get banned for things. I want them to be able to say their piece. But there's a fine line between saying things that I feel like are very harmful to kids, that could groom kids in a way into thinking that pedophiles are just like a sexuality and they're not dangerous. That kind of talk to me is actually damaging to society. That's like the one exception I'll take to maybe people who shouldn't have platforms are like open pedophiles, right? And also criminals and people who are scamming and using the internet for crime. I struggled with that because I've been, I'm anti-cancel culture. I'm anti-deplatforming, and people pushed me on that. Well, if you're anti-deplatforming, then why do you support? And I actually had to really think about it, right? Like,
Hmm.
like, I guess I am pro deplatforming if it comes to kids being in danger. And I think that kids are in danger in this space in general. And I don't think it's responsible to talk about pedophilia in a way where they're joking, making jokes about raping babies like this guy was,
Ugh.
and just,
Wow. Yeah.
making sick jokes about it, and trying to, like, basically minimize the damage that child sex assault has on our society. And to me, that's harmful to kids. So
Yeah. And how is that any different than, like, you making jokes about, like, threatening to off somebody? You know what I mean? It's like
right.
it should all be taken pretty seriously, and that's pretty
Yeah,
gross.
I mean, it's the same kind of thing. Like, if you were making violent jokes like that, they wouldn't allow it on the platform either, right? This is a platform. This isn't like a pro free speech platform, because you agree to terms of services when you
Hmm.
sign up to be a creator here, or a chatter, right? So, like, he got banned not because of me. I didn't deplatform him. He got banned because he broke the terms of services with the website. Like, it had nothing to do with me, right? But at the same time, like, I feel not like not like they should be deplatformed, but like, if they're going to be saying their piece, my piece should be able to be just as loud, and I should
Hmm.
be able to say, I don't think that you should be online saying that shit. You
Yeah,
know?
that makes sense. Was this similar to you had mentioned, like, when we first kind of sort of met, like, around the time of the Odyssey games, that there was a situation where a guy was, like, he had somehow gotten, like, photos of your daughter? Is that
Yeah, that kind of started my
similar?
whole venture
Okay.
into trying to bring down predators. Is my run-in with the real predator online. And I've been struggling with this guy because he makes new accounts, and he's just very pervasive. He's a scammer
Is he, like, a
and
content
a
creator, or, like,
creep.
what was
Yep.
his like, is does
Yep.
he have are there any patterns, like, that people if they find some like, what should people look out for, and, like, how did this person come to target you?
So it's a really long story. There's a YouTube video about it on my YouTube, but I'll give you the TLDR. If you're interested, though, it's actually like Netflix worthy. Like, I mean, it's like Tiger King level of insanity, right? Like, that's why it's hard for me to summarize. But basically, he targeted a group of streamers on Twitch with a scam, saying that he had a stream team and all these sponsors, which ended up being fake. And he was getting a bunch of people to promote him and help him build his channel, I guess, by having this fake stream team. And he was getting everybody's addresses to send them energy drinks and stuff like
Mm.
that, which we never ended up getting. But then he had all of
Wow.
our addresses, right? Because we filled out application to be on the stream team. Well, it turns out this guy is a career con man, career scammer. And I started to see weird shit that he had been saying to kids. So I started to dig deeper, and I found a bunch of inappropriate messages he'd been sending back and forth to kids. I found that he'd been tricking kids into signing fake contracts to play Fortnite for him. And the kids would give him his address. And then when the kids would try to leave the team, he would threaten them with their addresses. He would send
Oh
sex
God.
toys to their addresses, send animal
Yeah.
shit to their houses to get them in trouble. Weird shit. So we tried to call him out, and he just went nuclear. And
Who was this person?
his name is Matt Brockett, but he changes his usernames up around all the time. So you can't find him right now because he went ghost after this last round of virality.
Okay.
It goes viral every so often, and then like we get the pressure on him to be enough to where he disappears. But yeah, the whole story is on my YouTube. It's pretty intense, and also the struggle I went through with Twitch trying to get them to ban him, ban his account. What? You're gonna ban like people for saying, cracker, or you can't say that on
Right.
Twitch, right? But like you're not gonna ban this guy who's literally like
Yeah, being
scamming
a
people,
creep. Mhm.
harassing kids. He did that thing with my daughter. So he was, we had a lot of underage people telling us how he shared nude photos with them. I mean, just creepy stuff.
Whoa.
We went to the police. The police didn't do shit. Like it was just this whole ordeal. So the whole story's up on my YouTube. But yeah, it pretty much it's pretty much what started me down this rabbit hole of like the harm that's happening to kids online, like the dangers kids are in online. I started doing more private investigator work with specifically towards like missing kids, and I saw cases of like little girls who got groomed on Discord through Valorant gaming and then went missing, and now
Whoa.
they're in sex trafficking somewhere. They're gone or they're dead or who knows, right? So grooming and sex trafficking is a huge problem. And like I've said many times, right, bad guys don't sit in white vans on the side of the road anymore. They sit behind their keyboard. This is how kids get wrapped into abductions and sex trafficking now, because it's much less it's much harder for law enforcement to track and find people. They've got really, really good solid methods of hiding. Even on Twitch there's giant pedophile rings,
Oh
which I'm
man.
just now learning about, right? But I've been starting to work behind the scenes with some of these pedo hunter groups. Have you heard of like People versus Predators?
No.
And so like I've been trying to do some undercover work for people. Like basically I just catfish and pretend like I'm a 13-year-old girl or something, right? Um,
Wow. Yeah, and
trying to do
it's
this.
not just grooming, and it's not just like, legit like kidnapping and disappearance, although that it like happens and is horrible. It's also like these predators like convince these kids to like take photos of themselves
Right.
and send
Yep.
them to them that can be used who knows where, or used for blackmail or
Yep.
just
Sextortion
yeah.
and blackmail. That's the number one source of child pornography proliferation now. Because what they can do is they can get them to send one picture and then start blackmailing them and they'll say stuff like, I'll send all these pictures to your parents, your family, your classmates. And it's actually like a very like kids have committed suicide, over that. So it's really, really harmful to society in a lot of ways. It's a big problem. Like the law enforcement does not have a good enough hold on it.